You're allowed to hate me, and that is okay. But please try and listen to what I have to say. Stellar, right? My singing is stellar. No, I know it's awful, but I still sing. I'm that person in the car next to you that's like singing their head off and they're singing horribly, but I don't care because it's more fun my way. Anyway, in today's controversial topic, Donald Trump is wanting to see about revoking the automatic citizenship for babies born in America. And I think it's a great thing. His goal is to deter people from coming to our country. Plain and simple. He's trying to keep people in their own countries, working their issues out and dealing with their own stuff. And I think the thing that this caravan's highlighting is that mass amounts of people are banding together to try and get a better life. Unfortunately, where I think that they went wrong is that they thought it was a better idea to come into someone else's land and claim stake as if it's their own instead of banding together in their mass numbers and dealing with their own government, their own people, because if you can get that many people and you're saying that, you're terrified of where you are, but yet you can march through Mexico and everywhere else and storm through and take over and take charge, please. I can't imagine that your people are going to be nicer than mine. Anyway, and if you think that they are, then maybe that's part of our problem. Think about it. What's the deterrent for more people just coming over and doing what they want and saying that America's theirs? Like, what? Shouldn't we have some kind of standards as to who we're willing to, shouldn't we be able to say who we want to have in our house? And shouldn't we know who we're letting in? So by giving people who come here illegally, who are not likely going to get good paying jobs, because face it, Americans aren't getting good paying jobs. They have to have degrees, just to get entry level jobs these days. And if they can't get that and we can't get it, how are we going to help thousands and thousands of people who want to come over here, And if we're going to take care of our veterans and everybody else that we supposedly care so much about and our own people, how can we take care of other people when we can't deal with our own stuff? If we have, let me give you an example, okay? Let's say I have just enough food to feed my family, just barely enough. And then a bunch of people just start kind of coming over and they're like, hey, I want some food. Oh, you got some food? I want some, or whatever. And and I don't have enough for everybody else, not even food, but how about money? Okay. So I have $1 and everybody's like, oh, you have $1? I want $1. I want one. Or I'll let me take a penny. I'll take a penny. It's like, well, how am I supposed to save my money and do anything better and actually do something that benefits me and my family if I'm giving all of my money away to everyone else and everyone else that's just asking for it and everybody else that wants it? We have to make our economy strong first. And if we're trillions, we have such a huge deficit and we owe so much money, then how are we ever going to repay it if we keep bleeding our system by giving people who aren't even in our country or, here, that aren't even from here, our money? How can we be strong if we cannot even help our own people? It's like we got to take care of us first, and then maybe we can help out other people be successful in their country. But America first. You know, like I used to always be like, oh, we're all equals, we all whatever. And that's the thing I like about liberals, that we want to help everybody out. Like, or they want to help everyone out. And they don't want to see anyone suffer, and they want to fight for everyone and do everything for everyone else. But, you know, in order for people to learn how to survive, they have to learn how to take care of themselves. And sometimes you have to kind of sink or swim, you know, like you don't know what you're capable of until you've been pushed and put into that direction. So if we want to help people out, we have to teach them how to fight for themselves. We have to teach them how to do their own stuff, or they have to learn how to fight for themselves and do their own thing. You know, fighting other people's battles when you have your own to deal with, it's a waste of your time and productivity, and you're hindering them. I think that fishermen, you know, why catch a fish? If you give a person if you catch a fish and give it to them, you feed them for a day. But if you teach them how to fish for themselves, then they have fish for a lifetime and a food for a lifetime. I think that that's kind of how it is with that as well. So if that makes me a nationalist because I want to help our people first, and I want to take care of, you know, make sure that we're strong, then I'm a nationalist. And I get that, you know, the mainstream media is trying to say white nationalist, and they want to say white supremacist because they need it to be racist, you know, for you to feel any other way, and they need to like shut your voice out if you disagree. They're like, wait, we got to do this our way, because if you think differently, then you're racist and your opinion doesn't matter. But it's like, hold on, we should still be able to talk to people even if we don't agree with them, you know. And really, I support our president. I do. I've supported all of my presidents. You know, I didn't like what George Bush is doing, but I still had hope that he'd make good decisions and that he'd help our country out. And I still was able to see him as a person and a human being who, you know, had his reasonings for what he was doing. Yeah, he's probably corrupted and whatnot. And I think that he did do a lot of, from what I was taught, of course, I was taught a lot of things. And it's funny how you just believe things because that's what you hear and whatever. And I don't know. So I have to go back and do all my own research again and kind of learn things differently, because the system that I was brought into and just the things that I heard, you know, I believed it. But anyway, I always have supported all of my presidents. I voted for Obama. I did not vote for Trump. I voted for Jill Stein, okay? But I will be voting for him in 2020 because I like what he's doing. I see how he's trying to help the people, and I see how, like, the liberal media, or anyone other than Fox, and a bunch of YouTubers who have been silenced and whatnot, you know, I see how they're manipulating things and how they want him to fail, and that he can't even do anything right to save his life. You know, like he's never mind the fact that his daughter's, you know, Jewish, and he has grandkids that are Jewish, and that, you know, he helped move the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem so that, you know, he could help the Jewish community, and never mind any of that stuff. Oh, he's anti-Semitic, and the killer, you know, was against him. The killer was against him. The killer was not even a Trump supporter. The killer was anti-Trump because he thought that, you know, whatever. And the guy was crazy. Where I'm from, we have to take accountability for our actions. And if I say something stupid, which I say stuff that's stupid, but I'm like throwing things out there. Like, I get the president's way of doing things. You have to kind of like be willing to explore and think about things and come up with ideas that you're okay with possibly not working out to end up problem solving and figuring out solutions. So I'm okay with him, you know, throwing ideas out there. And I like that he does it, and he kind of mentions things, and he tries to get a feel from it through social media and see what people are saying. And, you know, I also like that he's able to talk to people directly with Twitter and say things, because yes, the media does try to create a certain narrative, and, you know, once you see through it, it's like, wow. And people are like, oh, you believe everything Fox I never even watch Fox, really. A lot of my news sources are pretty neutral people, and I came to supporting Trump on Inauguration Day whenever I just heard like the rhetoric, are you going to watch? You can't be a part of this. And if you even, are receptive to his ideas, then you're anti-American. No, you're anti-American. I support our president. I support that he's trying to help our nation. And everyone who's trying to help our nation, I'm in support of, okay? If you're trying to do good for us as a society, I'm all for it, okay? Yeah, I am. And if you're not, you need to check what you're doing. Don't let your hate for a man blind you. Your blind rage end up shooting yourself in the foot. Think about what you're fighting for. So you want immigrants here, okay? So then you can't care about citizens. I mean, we don't have money for everybody. And we have our own problems that you're complaining about. So what do you expect? He's trying to come up with solutions to help us out in our economy. He's trying to bring jobs back here, and he's trying to do a bunch of things. So we have to let him do his job. And yeah, you're like, no way, not my president, blah, blah, blah. Well, then freaking move. Bye-bye. Like, don't be here. We don't need people causing more problems. We need to work towards a solution. And honestly, like, my disgust and experience is what led me to where I am. I say this every video, I think. I live in a state. We live in New Mexico. It's really close to the border. We have a lot of people here with a lot of crime, a lot of drug use. It's a very liberal town. And repeat offenders, just people not very many people have car insurance. So people who do have insurance have to pay more. I see like the repercussions of, oh, let's let the junkies on the street take money. It's bringing our city down, and we have to say enough's enough, and we have to make some kind of a stand, and we need to like come up with stricter laws and rules to keep criminals out, to keep citizens safe. And if you're just saying we have to let everybody in because they want to come in, that's a problem, and you're dangerous. You're a danger. And to say, oh, they're nothing, they're no big deal, it's just women and children. There's so much more to that picture, because then we're just letting in the women and children and not the dads. How are people supposed to support themselves? And do you think that these immigrants are going to be able to have regular paying jobs where they're actually able to pay taxes and they're helping the system, put money into the system? Because right now, it's just the middle class and upper class that have to pay for things. And, personally, my solution would be to reward families, give huge tax incentives to the middle class and upper class and married families, and make our society so that we could survive on a one-income family comfortably, and, let women be with their children, raising them. Because I worked at a treatment center where we dealt with a thing called reactive attachment disorder, and seeing basically kids need a caregiver who's always around, like not like every minute, but who's consistently there for them. And if you have strangers raising your kids, then your children can have issues with attachment. They'll have behavioral issues and a lot of other host of problems. And maybe that's one of the reasons why we're so screwed up as a society. We're not raising our own kids, and our kids are having issues. So let's make families great again. Let's make, let's support that kind of a thing. Because being able to be 15 and having everything handed to you because you had a kid, I think that's why our society is as bad as it is. And that's why so many young people in my state have kids on drugs and end up having boyfriends who end up doing horrific things to their kids, people that aren't their kids. And I think that's why we're last in everything. So let's try to change things. I'm running out of time, so have a great day. I will have to talk to you guys about this later. If you have any more questions, would like to hear anything else, put it in the comments. I'll try to address it. Have a great day. Let's debate. That's how we're going to make progress.